Welcome to Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking with Renee Reiter from Invidia Landscapes. Renee is a designer in Melbourne and recently designed and helped build a garden at the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show in the Boutique Gardens. So we talk about that in this episode. And she's only been in the design side of the industry for a shortish time. So it's good to hear how she knew sort of what the path she wanted to head down. So even though she was a mature age student, she went back to school to study design and loved it. So just learning about something that you're passionate about is a great thing to do. And if you can make that your job, even better. And she also touched on how much of a whirlwind it was when she started the business because it took off pretty quick. So she said it was good to take stock a bit and think about the direction that she wanted to head down rather than getting a bit overwhelmed with all the work that was coming in. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with Renee Reiter. Renee, thank you very much for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. My first question for you is, how did you start in the industry?
Thank you for having me on. I kind of went a bit of a different direction, and in my 30s, I found my path where I was heading. So back in, I think I've had about 16 years experience within the horticulture and turf industry. Started at my local council. So I grew up in a country town and started horticulture. I think I did about 5 years in the horticulture team, about 8 years on the sports grounds, looking after the sports grounds. So had a really good background in horticulture, turf, construction, that, driving trucks, using machinery, all that sort of thing. Went back to study in 2018, and then not long after then started my business, and everything kind of just took off from there. So while I was back at school studying, I was working for a landscaper doing some more commercial development kind of stuff, which wasn't really where I was passionate about doing that kind of work. But everything kind of took off when I started the business.
So what were you doing before you started working for the council?
I worked at the council straight from high school. So I finished at 12 and started working from the council. So basically from 2004, I think, until 2018, I was in local government. And
did you choose that because you wanted to work in that kind of field, or was it just a job and you end up loving it?
I always enjoy being hands-on. I really enjoy just the practical side of working, being outdoors. I didn't really have a clear direction of where I was going to head with work-wise. I just, always just enjoyed being outside. I had really good opportunities while I was working at the council. I had the flexibility of going from in the office where I started to join the horticulture team and then swap over to on the sports grounds, where I probably got a lot of my practical skills, learned a lot. Then always had a passion for design. Always, was out in mum's garden or in my garden, just doing bits of landscaping. And it wasn't until I was about 32, I think, I ended up going back to school. So,
How was that going back to school?
I was never, so in school, I knew I was never going to uni. That was just not the direction that I was always going towards. I was too busy outside riding my horse and had to keep a full-time job to pay for my expensive pastime of owning a horse. So I just sort of, the years just flew past pretty much and just sort of set into life pretty much. And then in my early 30s, kind of felt where the direction needed to go and went back to school as a mature student, I suppose, and loved it. Really loved being back in the classroom and learning. I think because I was so interested in what I was learning about, it just made it so much easier.
Yeah, I did horticulture before I started landscaping, so I reckon it was probably 2003. So I was 20 when I was doing that, and there were some older people. So it was a certificate 4 in horticulture, and there were some older students. They were probably, when I say older, they were probably 27. So they seemed like they were ancient because I was 20. But yeah, it's the same with them. They love being there because it's something that people aren't doing because they have to, but they're doing it because they love it and they want to learn. So I think it's, yeah. Was that what your was like as well?
Yeah, and I was surprised because there was a few older students like my age and a bit older even as well. So it was just a really good dynamic within the classroom of just the different levels of experience and people completely new to the industry and people with a background already within the industry. So yeah, it was, and really good teachers as well with good experience. So it was just, yeah, going back to school, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, that makes a massive help as well, like having good teachers who know what they're doing. And you wanting to learn, it's a good recipe for being successful there. So did you have plans to start your own business when you went there?
Not really, no. I was working for a landscaper just working for him pretty much. It was more like a labourer's role. He didn't do any design-based work. It was not really horticulture focused. And I ended up getting a job which was through somebody he used to do business with. She wanted her Airbnb down at Kilcunda Landscape. So she gave me the job to do that. And I just kind of took a huge gamble and pretty much left my job, had another job booked in, just a front garden, and yeah, knew I had a few weeks work ahead of me and just, yeah, took a gamble. And then the next 2 years was just a complete blur pretty much.
Why? Because you had so many jobs you were doing?
Yeah, I didn't really think it was going to take off like it did. It just, yeah, from the first couple of jobs, then I had referrals to, I think, another 3 or 4. And then the referrals just kept coming in. So it was, yeah, really, really exciting. And then for, I think, like the 2 years until like really COVID hit, I didn't quite get a chance to stop and kind of, process things. And yeah, everything just happened really fast, which I can't complain about. It was, yeah, amazing that it did. But yeah, my head, I think, still spinning.
So were you designing most of those projects as well as building them?
Yeah, there was, pretty much everything I did, every job that I've done, I've designed apart from one. Yeah, so it's kind of been good. And what I found was when I was doing a little bit of design work back then, clients would then ask, can you build this for me as well? So yeah, that's where everything kind of fell into place as well.
And so you haven't done any advertising at all? It's all just been referrals rolling on from there?
Yeah, pretty much. I did a little bit at the start. I did the old letter drop, which got nothing. And yeah, it was pretty much a lot of referrals. And then now, probably the last maybe 12, 18 months, it's all been a lot of Instagram.
All right. And have you got, so now you're not doing the construction yourself, are there like landscapers who are getting you to do the design, so getting referrals that way?
I've had a couple. Yeah, I've had a couple that way. And yeah, now I've got the guys that when I've designed a job, sort of pass them on to be able to then go out and quote and build that job as well. So
yeah, that helps having people who like are familiar with your type of work, so then they know, what you're designing and how it's built.
Yeah, and the clients really like to be able to then, I guess, kind of maybe keep in touch, or because you've built that relationship with the client through the design process, then they'd like, your referral to a builder to then take over that build part of it as well. And I still love the construction process. I still love being, now able to just go out on site and visit and not be out there actually working, just doing the design process and then seeing it all built at the end.
So do you do any planting at all still?
I've left the planting out on a couple of jobs for myself to go in and do, because I really do like the change of directions was the design process, and the design and the plants is what I really enjoy. So I had left the planting side out on a couple of jobs for myself to go in and finish that off at the end. And yeah, I just have to see how much design work I kind of end up being booked up for, to then know whether the on-site work might have to, I might end up giving that up completely.
Yep. What sort of time frame does it take you to go for design from the site consultation to presentation?
It's usually around 4 weeks, just from the like the initial site visit, then process how I sort of vision the space, and then that first draft stage with the client, get their feedback, and then finalize the design and present it. So it's usually about a 4-week process at the moment.
And how many did you have multiple jobs on at the same time?
Yeah, so I try not to start too many. Like I won't start one until I've kind of cleared what I've got in front, and I find I'm kind of working on maybe two or maybe 3 at once. So in between the process of waiting for feedback on one and working on the other, and yeah, sometimes you have to wait a bit longer for the client to get back to you with their feedback, and then so it's kind of a bit of a juggle.
Yeah. And what sort of program do you use for your designs? Do you do any hand sketching at all?
No, I actually don't even do, and everyone's really different with how they work out their designs. I use Vectorworks to do all my designing on, but I look at site pictures and then work out the shapes, how it's going to function, and then I put those elements in first. Yeah, I don't do the hand drawings like I've seen them be done so well before. Yeah, I'm just very much straight into the program that way.
Yeah, well, my kids do drawings better than me, so I wouldn't even try to do a hand drawing. It would look even right. I don't even send contracts out handwritten because people wouldn't be able to read it. So
yeah,
if you're good at it, do it. If not, I don't know. There's no point trying. You try it, for yourself, but not professionally.
Yeah.
So do you do any 3D stuff with Vectorworks? Because I heard on the Landscape Victoria podcast, I think it was the last episode, they had some fella on from Vectorworks, and it sounded like a pretty good program. Like I use Landworks CAD, but he was selling it pretty well. Like, is it easy to use, that program?
At the start, I really struggled. I had to get a little bit of coaching bit of tutoring to work out how to use it properly. But I never do. I don't do my renders myself. I send them off, have them produced, because it just takes up too much time to do it myself. And then especially if I had to go learn how to actually use it. So for me, it just works out easier to do all my 2D drawings, send it through to get them produced, and then I just include that all into my final plans with the client. So,
and do you do that on every design, or do you give them an option?
Yeah, it depends. It's like some clients don't need the 3D visuals. Yeah, so I just offer basically two options. So either the set of 2D plans and then the whole package, which is like a lighting plan, the renders, basically everything for them to build the garden themselves if they choose to, or for a contractor to then quote.
Yeah, nice. And so with Vectorworks, have you had a crack at doing the 3D yourself on there?
Never.
Right.
No, I've picked my battles and that's not one of them.
Yeah, because the way the guy was talking about it sounded pretty easy to do. Like he said, when you're drawing in 3D. Like when you're drawing 2D, it's the same as 3D, and you just click a button and it converts it. And I thought, I don't know if that sounds right, but
I think it's very easy to convert it. But it's nothing. I haven't looked into actually doing it, and just really haven't had the time either. So this works for me. So I just keep doing it this way.
Yeah, smart. Have you got any plans on having any staff in the future?
No, I don't think so. I like to be, it's probably not where I really see the business, I don't think, unless I expanded and went into a bit of a different direction. But at at the moment. No, I think it'd be a bit hard to as well, because I'm sort of designing and then I'd be pretty much, it probably wouldn't be. It'd be probably just something that I'd keep doing myself.
Yeah, I've always wondered how it would be a challenge to add staff when you're a designer, because you're wanting to be on top of everything so much. But if you got someone in there also wanting to show a bit of creativity as well, so it'd be a bit of a learning curve, I reckon.
Yeah, it'll be a bit hard to just pass on a design to have somebody draw up. It'd be, probably not the direction I'd be heading in.
Yep.
Unless, I might end up being so busy that I might have to consider it one day. So
yeah. So have you found since COVID started that you've been busier with designs, or is that more like a natural progression anyway?
I think COVID was the driving force. I think back in, I think it was about September last year, I was just like everyone, getting burnt out, and I actually had a bit of a pause moment, I think, when we had that full construction lockdown, and thought, like, what direction do I want to go in? What is it that I really enjoy doing? Because I was starting to not enjoy it anymore, just being stressed and tired and trying to juggle everything on my own. So that was when I made the decision to this year solely focus on design work. And I was a bit worried at the start about the amount of jobs that I'd have coming in, but the jobs have kept coming in, so it was a really good decision. Like, less stress and clearer, and it just seems a better structure for me.
Good. Yeah, you got to enjoy what you're doing. Just life is too short to not enjoy your work.
Yeah, it was just I think everything happened so quickly. I didn't really get a chance to have that real business structure, because I was just doing what I had to do every day. So having a bit of a think, take a bit of a breath, and then decide what it is that drives me and what I get passionate about, and that's the design.
That's awesome. Have you got any design mentors or anyone who's helped you out with like running the business or designing?
Yeah, I actually ended up getting a bit of mentoring from an interior designer when I was having my real bit of a crisis last year with the direction and everything. Everything really aligned, just with going through a bit of a process and having that bit of guidance with that. And in the industry, I have had some really nice people when I've been stuck and go, hey, what do I do now? What do I do here? Yeah, they've kind of helped me out. It's been it's a good industry to be in, because everyone's quite supportive of each other. So I
find interior designers, I'm seeing a lot more. It's kind of blending in a lot to the landscaping, which is good, because the house should be part of the landscape as well. So do you find that's kind of creeping out as well in terms of the inside coming out?
When I approach a design, I always consider the interior as well as the exterior, and just the overall style of the home as well. So when I go to a space, everything kind of has to connect with each other and make sense. Otherwise, it all can be mismatched, and it's kind of it takes away that overall look of a place at the end.
Yep. Yeah, Meg Geary said a great thing when I spoke with her, because she was talking about someone wanting a Paul Bangay garden, but it didn't suit the house, so she said she's not going to give them that garden. And then if you design a garden that suits their house, then they may not even realise that was the best option anyway.
Yeah. Everything, like connection and the style, they all have to complement each other as well. So.
And just recently, you were at the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show with your project. So what was that experience like? And when did you first find out you were going there?
So it was a little bit of a journey, that one. So in 2020, I had my student garden ready to bump in the next day, I think it was, when we got cancelled last minute. Then I was coming in as a emergent garden, but then December last year I had the opportunity to submit a design, and was, lucky enough to get in. December, no contractor wants to hear from you because as if Christmas rush wasn't stressful enough. So in January, I had lined up Leon and the team to help build my garden, which, the exciting part was getting in. And then it was, who am I going to get to help build it? So we had a very short turnaround. I think it was about 3 months from, our first chat to, being there. But, it was the most incredible experience.
Had you worked with them before as well?
Never. Which, it could have been an absolute disaster. As, people know, working with contractors can be tricky, let alone probably the most important job ever. I was the rookie. They hadn't done a show garden before, but it was just, incredible.
So did you speak to anyone about how, anyone who's done one before, about any advice on how to go about it?
Yeah, I did give Marty Semkin a call, and he was lovely. He, had a bit of advice. There was, one of the guys from, now I can't remember his name. He handles all the logistics on the site.
Langers.
Langers, he's a legend. He was so helpful. One thing he said was, don't bite off too much and don't pour concrete on site. I think Wednesday we had the concrete truck rolling in to do our and I think everyone was just, thinking, what are they doing? What are the rookies doing? So, I like to be very organised and plan. So I had my lists of everything that had to be done. We pretty much had everything built off site. So it was just pretty much, building a Lego set together on site. Even the crazy paving we did off site. So we didn't have to dry cut, do all, that process of laying crazy pave. So just tried to make as easy as possible while we were there.
Well, that's like a veteran way to go about building a garden show. You being as organised as possible and building as much as you can before starting that's the ticket to doing it well. I don't think it could have gone any better than what we planned, really. So I think I walked around for the whole time with just this dumb smile on my face. I was just walking around and seeing everyone, and it was just a blast. Loved it. Yeah, I love it as well. It's an awesome place to be. So many good people there, and everyone seems generally in a good mood. But so with that crazy paving, so did you number each piece and take photos, or is that how you put it back together?
We had it in a grid, so there were 6 pieces of yellow tongue down. Every piece that didn't overlap was glued down, and then the boards were numbered, and then each piece was numbered to that board.
Oh, nice.
So I think it only took, I reckon a couple of hours to do the whole floor on site compared to how long crazy paving takes to do. And then we didn't have to dry cut on site either. So it just took that whole process out of it, because it just came. I was more stressed about pieces breaking on the way in. That was the most nervous I was about the whole build, was having the crazy paving come in and no pieces broken.
So did you have people walking past in the morning and then coming back towards the end of the day and you've done all this crazy paving? They were freaking out?
No, we didn't get that in until the Monday.
All right. So the second last day.
Yeah, I think there was a few comments that I don't think people thought we were going to finish. But we were on track. It was getting the pergola up, getting all the timber battens on, and then once all the steps and everything was in, getting it all sprayed, and then the floor, it didn't take that long to put in, and we grouted after the plants on the Monday night. So
and you were pretty much finished on the Monday night, weren't you?
Yeah, we wanted to have everything finished off. So Tuesday, I just had to pretty much style it and do a final cleanup. So we were on track. It was
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's not what my first time was like. We didn't really finish.
Oh, we did about 14 hour days every day. And then Tuesday, when we were finished, it was just like a switch went off. Like the boys were laying down. It was just, we were all, our bodies, I think, just knew that, you're done.
Yeah. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah.
So what was it like hearing the feedback from the public?
Oh, that was great. It was really nice. I was blown away by watching people come up and take photos. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. The comments were really positive. The public were beautiful. Like, they were just so lovely. There was a couple of comments. A couple of people said that it was really cold. And yeah, like a couple of comments like that, but everything else was really positive. So it was really good. And it's not going to suit everyone's cup of tea either. So
no. That's a good thing about the garden shows. There's so many different gardens there. So there's bound to be something that someone likes.
Yeah, and I think that's the good part about designing as well, that everyone has a different style. Everyone sees things differently, and that's what keeps it interesting because, like clients don't like the same thing. So, they're more likely to go to a designer who is more their style. So
exactly, yeah. That's what I used to question about how I could look at it like design of a designer who's done got a good reputation, and I could tell it was their design because there's so many similar things in it, and I thought that was a bad thing, but that's actually a good thing because that's why people choose them, because they want something similar to that. Like you don't want it to be exactly the same, but they want that style. Yeah. So I've seen you've got a design at the moment which has got a lot of similar elements to that garden. So did you get that did that customer ever come from the garden show? Yeah, there's two, I think there's three that really basically wanted the garden at their place. Cool. Which is kind of really good that, somebody loves it that much. But then it's like, it kind of does have to be tweaked a bit to not be the same, because that should be their like special garden, not just, a complete replica of what was done. And site conditions change as well. The site, that little courtyard, was a bit longer and a bit narrower, access issues through, but they wanted that style. So just making kind of that same style work within their space, and it looks really good. So you got 3 inquiries from the garden show already? Yeah. Oh, I think I ended up with about 9. Oh, wow. 9 or 10 jobs out of it, which was really good. That's insane. It was only 2 months ago. Yeah, they all booked in, straight away. So that was really good. Yeah, that's it. That's incredible. Like, a lot of people don't get that many over 12 months, because what I found with the garden show is not everyone is ready for their project at the moment. So they're just sort of getting ideas, and then they'll contact you in 9 or 12 months. Yeah. Getting that many, it's not a surprise though, because a lot of people I was speaking to about your garden are saying they could see it, like they would want that in their place as well. Like it's a real garden, not a artistic one. So it was a good idea to do that path. Yeah, I did make use of the opportunity to definitely promote my style in the business, and that's kind of my style. So I make good use of the opportunity there. Yeah, nailed it. That's good. So what's coming up in the future for Invidia Landscapes? Just designing now. Just a lot more designs. We've got some really cool projects starting, I think July, the first June, July. So a few designs that I did last year are ready to start construction, and then everything will start to keep kicking on after that. So a lot of exciting designs that I've been waiting to get built will start, and then keep designing more gardens. So sounds good. Yeah, there's I need to work for a while to pay off the show garden. So I was going to say, did you drop a lot on that? Yeah, it was it did cost a bit. But it sounds like you'll get that back though. I mean, you'll be able to get it back pretty quick. Yeah, and I kind of went in full
hard for
Yeah.
it, because I thought I don't want to miss the opportunity while, I can be at the garden show. So yeah. And Leon was the same. So we kind of didn't want to add up what was all spent in the end, because it just hurt too much.
Yeah. Yeah, but I get like that on some jobs, which is not great, because I keep track of everything, and then I get to a point where they go, I don't want to know what it's costing anymore. It's gone past the profit amount, so I don't care.
Yeah.
So has Leon had any work directly out of it, or it's a bit harder for the construction?
No, he's had a lot of interest from it, and they'll, like the jobs that I've been getting, he'll just keep building them as well. So he's pretty booked up now for a while.
And that's good also that like when you are doing those same materials, like, because I assume Granite Works with the papers, they might have given you a discount or given you a good deal on them. So then you can sort of pay them back for helping you out by buying more product off them. Yeah,
every design that then gets built for me, or even in my designs, I specify what pavers they are and the supplier.
Yep.
Because they've been always so good to me. So, and that's, so they can keep getting business from that as well. Yeah, hopefully I can keep, getting more designs, getting more builds, and then selling, getting more of their pavers sold. So,
yeah, I'm sure they'd be happy with that as well. Oh, Renee, thank you very much for taking the time to come on today. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to following along as you go into the future.
Thank you very much. It's been great.